looks like you've moved closer to the river and downtown there, Jenny.
Yeah, that's right. We are in a parking garage, the Poe parking garage. You might know we are right near the Art Museum and near the Riverwalk there. You can see Curtis Hickson is just beyond the museum there. So people familiar with this area, and you can see nobody's out. Everybody is really taking the warning this time. People are staying where they should be and hunkering down for the storm. Now, we do have a couple updates from Hillsborough County. The shelters are filling up. People have decided last minute, the more they see of this storm, the more they see the rain coming down, they're deciding, you know what, we really need to be indoors, or in a safer place than they are. So the shelters are filling up, but Hillsborough opened up 3 more, so there is room for you. If you still want to go, you still have a small window of time to get to a shelter, and there are areas where you can get to that. Now, Hillsborough County also, we talked to the sheriff's office earlier, they're ready to go after the storm. You know, Sheriff Chronister didn't like talking about what's going to happen after the storm while we're still getting ready for this one, but he just wanted everyone to know that they are ready, and they have some new task amphibious water vehicles. They have 4 more. They saw how important the ones that they had were during Helene. So the county kind of coughed up the dough, and they were able to purchase more, and they were able to get them in the last couple of days. Now, as far as debris, the Tampa mayor says it has been a Herculean effort. They have hauled away about 3 months of debris in just a couple of days, and that's just around the city of Tampa. Hillsborough County also working around the clock. And, you know, Mayor Castor said they're still out there hauling debris, and they're still going to be doing it until at least 3 o'clock, even later if they can do it safely. Update from TECO, they're ready to go. They have their largest response team ready. They are standing, ready to go as soon as this storm is over to try and get power back. Of course, the way they do it is in order of importance. So they want to get hospitals back online, your police stations, your county offices. They want to make sure that all of those first responders, all of those people that are going to be able to help you after the storm, they will get their power back first, and then they're going to go home to home, neighborhood to neighborhood, and they're going to work. They have about 5,000 people on standby. So a lot happening with the county as they give their update. Of course, the Plant City mayor also talking, saying that anyone in a mobile home or a manufactured home should also consider going to a shelter or going to a friend's home because the winds are going to be so strong and predicted to be so strong with Milton. But I want to just give you another look. You know, the river looking good right now. Riverwalk not flooded. We aren't seeing any flooding. We've just had some light rain falling since we started about 1 o'clock this morning. And you can see the trees really aren't even moving. It's oddly calm out here, Jameson and Caitlin. So, I mean, right now, it just seems like people have heeded the warning, and they're staying put. And that's really what emergency officials are asking you to do before we do start to see any of those winds pick up here in Tampa and Hillsborough County.
And yeah, the proverbial calm before the storm, but this certainly is a scary one for our area, and definitely the clock ticking to get to higher ground if you are in a flood zone right now.
Yeah, absolutely eerie to kind of not see anybody lingering around downtown. We know during Helene, Jenny went down toward Bayshore as the water was coming ashore, and everybody was over there seeming to have a good time, and it wasn't a good time, obviously. And hopefully everyone stays out of that area today as well. Don't forget, at 11:30 this morning, we will be taking a live press conference with the city of Tampa and Mayor Jane Castor about their response today, as well as what is coming up in the days afterwards as well.
Yeah, with that in mind, right now we're getting updated photos here. This is of Tampa police officers making their final evacuation efforts here. They are hoping that you've sought shelter. If you haven't, this is the time to do it. There are a number of shelters still open in the Tampa Bay area, 3 already reaching capacity at this point. But as you heard Jenny say, recently 3 additional ones opened as well. So this is the time to heed those warnings. There's going to be a time, as there always is with these very strong storms, where they're just not going to be able to respond.
Hurricane Milton. Yeah, Hurricane Milton, one of the fastest storms ever to go from a 1 to a 5 in the Gulf of Mexico. Hurricane hunters sending us this new video of their flight into the storm yesterday. When you look at it, you think, not so bad compared to the story or the VO that we saw from the day before when they went in and everything went flying around in the plane. That is, I'm going to guess, more of them in the eye, since it is as calm as it is right there. But is quite the storm, and it is heading this way now, about 250 miles or so to Tampa, as the crow flies, I guess they would say.
Yeah, we are just at 11 o'clock this morning. Thanks for joining us here on 10 Tampa Bay. This has been a long morning for us across the Tampa Bay area. We're with you every step of this storm right now. It is coming up at 11 o'clock, so we have this hope, get an update here on the path and track of Milton. It has been a Category 4 storm.
Send it over to meteorologist Amanda Pappas. Did we just get that 11 o'clock advisory in?
We did just get the 11 o'clock advisory in, guys. So we're here. We're going to be stepping you through this every single way of the storm. That new advisory showing us that those wind speeds have tumbled down a little bit from 155 down now to 145 miles per hour. That pressure has been raised a little bit as well, 931 millibars. So the system overall, not too many big changes for you, other than the fact that we are going to continue to see that this maintains that major hurricane strength. It's still a Category 4 with this 11 a.m. advisory. The update, now let's take a look at that cone. The major update, it looks like we could see enough of this vertical shear, they're thinking, along with the dry air, to really help to weaken this system before it makes landfall as a Category 3. Now, we do see one thing that's really interesting is that the cone has shifted a little farther south. Again, we still anticipate that Manatee County or potentially Sarasota County is going to be the location of that landfall. This is brand new information. I am just seeing it just as fast and quickly as you are right here. It's still projected to cut across the state as a hurricane, and it is going to bring major impacts, not just to the west coast of Florida, but to the state as a whole. We are under multiple warnings at this time, and we know that some of those are all caused by these impacts, right? So talking about long term, we do see that the system will then cut across the state of Florida. With this latest cone, it shows that it'll weaken by early Friday morning and push out into the Atlantic. Thank goodness, not curving back up like Helene did to the Carolinas, which is wonderful news. Aside from that, though, this is going to be our storm. So here's what we need you to do. You have to move now. We are about to close in on the final hour of where you can finally evacuate. So you got to evacuate now if you are in that evacuation zone. I'm begging you. We love you. You matter. And also, we love Tampa Bay. So we want to make sure that you are out of a dangerous situation. Landfall still projected to be late tonight into early Thursday morning. We'll get a better idea as we go throughout the rest of the afternoon of exact timing and location for you. But just know around 11 p.m. we could see that landfall potentially into midnight. Now, impacts are going to be those very strong winds. This wind field on this system is going to be so large, and we could see some of the strongest winds, the highest surge, things that we've never seen that can change our entire coastline here on the west coast of Florida. Things are not going to be the same after Milton rolls through. And that tornado watch that we had issued as well, that's going until 9 o'clock. Why? Because the bands of rain and wind are going to continue to move in. We already have tornado warnings to our south, and those will gradually move northward as we go throughout the next couple of hours. And with them, we know those bands of rain, that training, those areas that get the rain again and again and again, that can lead to a major problem in terms of flash flooding. So we do know that the system set now with the latest advisory that just came in to potentially now make landfall as a Category 3 rather than a 4. So, hey, we're going to take that piece of good news. Either way, though, we can't focus in on the category, right? We have to focus in on the impacts. And either way, this is going to be a major landfalling hurricane. So right now, we already have some tornado warnings over towards portions of Glades County, into Hendry County, portions of Collier. I saw multiple videos and pictures of a massive tornado that was crossing over Alligator Alley, I-75, right down here for our neighbors in Southwest Florida. This is serious. We want you to stay in your safe spot today and stay put, and have a way to get alerts by downloading our 10 Tampa Bay app. So we have our eye of the storm right here. You can see some of that lightning within that inner eye wall near the core, indicating that this system is strong. Look how wide it is, that rain shield expanding far north. Look at that, all the way into portions of the Panhandle and Big Bend of Florida right there. We see a good amount of moderate rainfall for our areas. Zoomed in look right now, we continue to see these bands of rain and wind are continuing to move gradually more northward as the system moves to the northeast right now. And we do know that we are going to see that tornado threat only increase heading into the rest of this evening. That is why we have a tornado watch in effect for our area. So no tornado right here, right now. However, the ingredients are right and the atmosphere is primed to see these tornadoes pop up, and they're supercells that are in there. I was just reading the discussion from the National Hurricane Center about Milton. These are things that we don't typically see. Now, what we do typically see with tornadoes are EF0s, EF1s that last for about 5 to 15 minutes. Now, we're seeing some really impressive signatures on radar, meaning really impressive areas of spin, right, that we're watching. So these could be some dangerous tornadoes. So make sure you identify in your safe spot that you're riding out the storm in a safe room or safe location in the interior of wherever you're staying, away from windows, especially if you do have a tornado in the area. You want to know where to go. Put as many layers between you and the outside world as possible and get to the center portion of the area. But otherwise, guys, right now we can see not everyone experiencing the worst of it quite yet, but that rain is still definitely kicking, and you could see those winds kicking up as well from Lakewood Ranch. Eyes on them. We could see this system make landfall late tonight, either late tonight or early tomorrow morning. So our in-house model has been putting this as an earlier landfall, to be honest with you guys. But you could see either way, the eye wall is impacting us tonight, and that is why we have that tornado threat. Take a look. We see a ton of rainfall with this, and it's going to continue to move gradually, cut across the state, heading into the overnight hours and pushing over to the Space Coast. As it does so, that is why we have that level 3 enhanced risk. Level 3 out of 5 risk for severe weather. So what does that mean to you? Well, we have the risk for tornadoes. We got storm surge that's going to be coming later tonight, and rain and wind all throughout the day today. That's why I'm telling you, don't go outside. It's not safe, obviously. And hopefully, I've been seeing this, which I'm really happy a lot of you have evacuated. But what we do know is that the system will clear on out of here, but still seeing that threat for severe weather crossing over into the state. And we do know for us here, we're going to see the most amount of impacts. Even over towards the East Coast, though, they could be seeing some storm surge. But let's talk about those local impacts for you. We do know that over towards Citrus, Hernando, and Pasco, our northern counties, from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m., we're going to be experiencing the majority of these, the brunt of it. Winds up to 90 miles per hour, rain topping out at 12 inches potentially, surge 4 to 7 feet. And we do know that flash flood threat is there because the northern portion of this system is going to contain the most amount of rainfall. That rain shield is very thick, and that leads to that freshwater flooding. Now, for Pinellas and Hillsborough, beloved Tampa and St. Pete, we know that the winds could be topping out to 110 miles per hour. Rain up to 16 inches. That could be devastating and lead to that flash flooding. And this is why it's so important for you guys to heed all the evacuations. Your time to evacuate is coming to an end quickly here, folks. Surge potentially up to 12 feet. That is deadly. I know that those numbers have come down a little bit, but it's still much more than we even saw with Helene. And we know that the debris could be picked up, lofted into the air, and thrown around. And that's the last thing that we want you to be near. Manatee, Sarasota, where we could see the landfall of the system. 4 p.m. to 4A, we do have those winds topping out to 120 miles per hour potentially, and we know the surge threat will be the greatest just to the south of the eye of the system, and we do want you to heed those evacuations. Overall, though, Mount Polk County always just gets the brunt, really, of it as well. Even as it's crossing through and it's not towards the coast, we still need you to know about power outages and the potential for severe weather. Coming up, though, I'll have a full analyzation of the storm and also talking about your 7-day forecast in just a couple of minutes. And Bobby Duskins, our chief meteorologist, has just arrived.
All right, thank you so much, Amanda. Yeah, we're going to dig deeper a little bit into that 11 o'clock advisory there. A lot of folks had questions this morning. The model's still not in agreement as of early this morning. We're hoping as we get a little bit closer here, we can finally, drill this thing down.
Yeah, I see our chief hard at work over there checking these models and really studying the impacts here. I know everybody is at home anticipating more information as soon as we can get it. I missed that from our producer here.
The Hernando Emergency Operations Center is holding a live press conference right now. Let's go ahead and listen in.
Thank you, Director DiCarlo. I wanted to speak to a minute to our neighbors in Ridge Manor and the east side of the county, specifically US 301, Trilby and Croom area, and anybody neighboring the Withlacoochee River. We're anticipating major flood stage Saturday and into Sunday. So we need you to be vigilant. We need you to be informed. You can monitor our Facebook pages, Hernando EM, Hernando Government. All the information will be posted there. You can also track the flooding at www.weather.gov/SERFC. Again, that's www.weather.gov/SERFC. Again, major flood stage Saturday going into Sunday on the Withlacoochee River. So please, east side of the county, please be vigilant, stay informed, follow us on social media for all the updates. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Again, as soon as the storm passes, we'll have sandbag locations reopened as soon as we can for those people that are going to be affected by the flood within the Withlacoochee. Also, due to the flood, please remember, if you have any electric cars, any electric bikes, anything that with lithium ion batteries, generators, please take them out of your garage, out of your home. If it does get flooded, it gets saltwater intrusion or even freshwater intrusion, any water intrusion is likely to compromise that battery and cause a fire. Okay, we want to make sure nobody gets hurt. We're very fortunate that we had no fatalities, no injuries during Hurricane Helene. I want to make sure that same posture goes for Hurricane Milton. For further information, I'd like to turn it over to Commissioner John Alaco.
Thank you. As we've heard, there's expectation of losing electricity. So for those of you who have tubs in your home, I'd recommend that you fill your tubs with water in advance. That can be used to help flush your toilets, especially those who are on private wells. This is important for you to understand. Once you lose electricity, you're not going to be able to use your well. You're going to want to be able to use your facilities as long as possible. However, if your well is to be inundated with water, likely to happen, especially in the areas of the east end of the county, understand that that well will be contaminated. It's going to need to be sanitized afterwards before you use that. You can become very sick if that water obviously gets into your well from the ground. Again, fill your tubs if possible. You can use that to help flush your toilets. Understand that this is probably going to be several days without electricity, as we're hearing. So if you're on a private well, you're definitely going to want to make sure you're prepared. That includes most of the northwest end of our county, parts of Brooksville, and on our east end of our county into Ridge Manor and community. You know who you are if you're on a private well. Also, understand that we've heard it already about electric down. Just because electric lines are down and you may not have electricity does not necessarily mean that some of the lines may not be energized. Potentially even from other people's generators. So do not walk around in the water around any down lines, and understand that any potential sitting water could be energized from somebody's private generator. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Again, just to recap, Hurricane Milton is forecast to make landfall in the Sarasota area at 2 a.m. Early Thursday morning. We can expect tropical storm force winds within Hernando County between 4 p.m. today and 6 p.m. 4 and 6 p.m. we can start seeing those tropical force storm winds entering Hernando County. It takes several hours throughout the night, and we can expect those to leave the area by 11 o'clock, between 11 o'clock and 5 p.m. tomorrow. This is as it gets closer to the West Coast, it's going to expand. The wind field is going to be huge, okay? So please be careful. Keep in contact with our Facebook page, monitor your local weather forecast, and keep informed, okay? We want to make sure everybody's safe. If you have any further questions, storm-related questions, please call our Public Information Center, 352-754-4083. For more storm information, you can visit our website at www.hernandocounty.us/EM. That's hernandocounty.us/EM. To sign up for weather alerts, go to www.alerthernando.org. We'll continue to monitor the storm, and we'll push out that information as it becomes available throughout the day from the National Hurricane Center and through the National Weather Service, our Tampa Bay Ruskin office. We have great relationships. We've been in constant communication with those. We have several calls throughout the day with both entities and along with the Florida Division of Emergency Management. We're trying to do everything we can to help protect you and be prepared for response and recovery from not only continue that from Hurricane Helene, but also from Hurricane Milton. Remember, Hernando County, you're number one. Hernando prepares. Thank you.
All right, we are keeping you prepared ahead of this storm, and a great way to do that around the clock, especially if you lose power, which it's expected that much of the Tampa Bay area will, at least at some point throughout this storm. We are here for you around the clock with our 10 Tampa Bay Plus app. You can stream it on Fire, Roku, Apple TV. A good time to go and download that right now to your TV. You can also take our app with you on the go. Good time to download that too, 10 Tampa Bay. right there on your phone. You can stream us live for you. You also find resources at your fingertips, shelters, gas, power outages as Hurricane Milton makes its way toward the Tampa Bay area as of that 11 o'clock advisory just about 15 minutes ago. It is a Category 4 storm. It has weakened just a little bit, and big headline out of that is we could expect an early